before the story begins. If this story touches your heart even a little, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps more people hear stories like this. My name is Lisa. Since the day I was born, people didn't see a baby. They saw a color. My grandmother once said, half joking, "She's too black, life will be hard for her." I didn't understand those words then, but I would feel them for the rest of my life. In school, I learned very quickly that I was different. Not smarter, not weaker, just darker. Kids didn't call me by my name. They called me Black Girl. Sometimes they called me worse. I remember one day in class, a boy rubbed my arm and said, "Does the color come off?" Everyone laughed. I laughed too. That was the first time I learned how to laugh at my own pain. At home, my mother would say, "Don't go in the sun, you'll get darker." As if darker was a disease. She bought me soaps that promised fairness, creams that burned my skin, lotions that smelled like hope and failure. Every night I stood in front of the mirror, staring at my face, waiting for it to change. It never did. By the time I was 13, I avoided photos, I avoided mirrors, I avoided light. I thought if I stayed in the dark, no one would notice how dark I was. Boys in school liked my friends, the lighter ones, the pretty ones. I was the funny one, the helpful one, the invisible one. They came to me with their problems, their heartbreaks, their secrets. But no one ever came to me with love. Once I confessed to a boy I liked. He looked at me and said, "You're nice, but you're not my type." Later I heard him say to his friends, "She's too dark." That night I cried so hard I couldn't breathe. Not because he rejected me, but because he confirmed what I already believed. That I was unlovable. I started wishing I could wake up as someone else, someone lighter, someone better. I edited my photos before posting. I used filters, brightened my skin, changed my face. People liked the edited version of me, so I learned to hate the real one. I stopped wearing bright colors. I stopped going out in the sun. I stopped believing compliments. If someone said I was beautiful, I thought they were lying. When someone looked at me, I wondered what they were thinking. Too dark. Not pretty. Why does she even try? These voices lived in my head, even when no one said anything. The world taught me to hate myself. But eventually, I did it better than anyone else. I chose jobs where I wouldn't be seen. I avoided parties. I avoided love. Because rejection hurts less when you reject yourself first. One day I met a little girl at the bus stop. She looked at me and smiled. She said, "You're so beautiful. I want to look like you." I laughed, because no one had ever said that to me before. Her mother pulled her away and whispered, "Don't stare." That moment broke something inside me. I realized something painful. The same thing that hurt me was now being passed to another generation. The same shame, the same fear, the same lies. I went home and stood in front of the mirror again. Not to change myself, but to really look at my skin, my eyes, my lips, my history. And for the first time in my life, I didn't ask, "Why am I like this?" I asked, "Who taught me to hate this?" I realized something that night. I was never ugly. I was never wrong. I was just born into a world that loved one color more than another. All those years I wasted trying to become someone else were years I could have spent loving who I already was. So I stopped using filters. I stopped buying creams. I stopped apologizing for existing. The world didn't change. People still judged, still stared, still whispered. But I changed. And that was enough. Now when I look in the mirror, I don't see a problem. I see survival. I see strength. I see a girl who was taught to hate herself and chose not to anymore. My name is Lisa, and I am not ashamed of my color. I'm proud of it, because the darkest nights are the ones that teach you how to shine. After that night, something inside me shifted. Not loudly, not magically, just quietly, like a tired heart finally resting. But healing isn't a straight line. Some days I felt strong. Other days I hated myself again for no reason at all. Because when you grow up hating your own reflection, self-love feels fake at first, like wearing clothes that don't fit yet. I would walk into rooms and still feel small, still wonder if people were judging me, still compare myself to others. The difference was, I noticed it now. Before, those thoughts controlled me. Now I questioned them. One day at work, a client looked at me and said, "You don't look professional enough." I knew what he meant. He didn't say the word, but I felt it. I went to the bathroom and stared at myself. My old version would have cried, would have blamed her face, would have wished to disappear. This time I felt angry, not at him. At the years I lost believing people like him. I looked at my reflection and said out loud, "I'm not the problem." It felt strange, like lying to myself, but I kept saying it, again and again and again. Until one day, it wasn't a lie anymore. I started posting real photos of myself online, no filters, no edits, just me. At first, I was terrified. My finger would hover over the post button for minutes. When the first photo went live, my heart was racing. Some people ignored it. Some people unfollowed me. Some people made jokes. But then something unexpected happened. A girl messaged me. She said, "Seeing you made me stop hating myself." Another said, "I thought I was the only one." Another said, "Thank you for being visible." I stared at those messages for a long time, because for years I thought I was invisible. Turns out, I was just waiting for the right people to see me. I began to realize something beautiful and painful at the same time. The people who hurt me the most were never trying to destroy me. They were repeating what the world taught them, just like I did to myself. I thought about my mother, about the creams, about the warnings to avoid the sun. She wasn't cruel, she was scared. Scared I'd suffer like she did. Scared the world would be unkind. Scared of being dark in a world that worships light. She tried to protect me by teaching me to hide. One day I sat with her and said, "Mom, I don't want to be lighter. I want to be happier." She didn't know what to say. She just looked at me for a long time. Then she touched my face and said softly, "You look beautiful today." It was the first time she ever said it, not because I changed, but because she did. Slowly, I started doing things I avoided my whole life. Wearing bright colors, going out in the sun, looking into cameras without fear. Not because I suddenly loved myself, but because I refused to keep punishing myself. There's a difference. Self-love isn't waking up every day feeling confident. It's choosing not to hurt yourself anymore, even when the world still tries to. I still get insecure. I still feel ugly sometimes. I still hear old voices in my head. But now I answer them. When my mind says, "You're not enough," I say, "Enough for who?" When it says, "You'd be prettier if you were lighter," I say, "Prettier according to whose pain?" When it says, "No one will love you," I say, "I'm learning to love myself." That's a start. I realized something important. I didn't hate my skin. I hated what people said about it. And those are not the same thing. My skin never betrayed me. never judged me, never told me I was worthless. People did, and I believed them. That was the real tragedy, not being dark, but believing darkness meant something bad. Now when little girls look at me, I smile first, because I know what it feels like to grow up without seeing yourself in the world. Representation isn't about pride, it's about survival. It's about letting someone know you don't need to change to exist. Sometimes I think about the girl I used to be, the one crying in the mirror, the one editing every photo, the one praying to wake up different. If I could talk to her now, I'd say, you don't need lighter skin. You need kinder voices, and the first one must be your own. I lost years of my life hating myself, years I'll never get back. But I gained something I never had before. Peace. Not the loud kind, the quiet kind, the kind that lets you breathe, the kind that lets you sit alone without feeling empty, the kind that makes you look in the mirror and think, I don't need to run from you anymore. My name is Lisa, and I was taught to hate myself. But I am unlearning it, slowly, every day, not to become perfect, not to become beautiful,